Welcome to the Vision of a CEO, a space where, beyond having coffee, I'll show you how ideas truly turn into strategy through ambition and discipline. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another section of Vision of a CEO. Like every week, we have exciting and new topics and trending topics, like always, in marketing, business, sales, you name it. Everything that is happening around the world that concerns us, concerns me, concerns you, we have it all here. Today, one of the things that I want to share with you is something that has been haunting me since day one. It's something that I have been fighting. Well, I honestly don't even know. Maybe not fighting, maybe I don't really care anymore, but it's something that I always like to share with everyone that maybe resonates with you. Everyone knows I'm Dominican, really, really proud Dominican, but something that you probably don't know, I am actually part Cuban too. And in my background, my dad told me that there was three brothers from Cuba. They escaped, obviously, the communism, and they went to the Dominican Republic. They established themselves there. So every family, every person who has the last name Firpo is actually one big family in the Dominican Republic. But then me digging in and digging in even deeper, we are not even actually from Cuba. We are from Europe, somewhere in between Italy and France. The story goes on and on and on. And I'm telling you this because that's when you know how big of a mix any family can be, but especially when it comes to Latinos. And I'm telling you this so you know where I'm coming from. Well, long story short, in 2007, I received the news that I got my green card through my dad. And my dad brought me here. I was underage back then. I remember that it was not my first time coming to the US. I came before. I was actually privileged to have a tourist visa before. And and it's good to mention that I already knew how to speak English back when I came in. So, to clear that air. So I was bilingual already. I knew some French, so I wouldn't say that I would knew three languages because I literally totally forgot everything about French when it comes to it. However, I was bilingual when I came to the US, and I did have 2 years and a half in college when I came to the country. So little by little, the first thing that I obviously wanted to do was to continue my education and, be someone, or what a lot of people like to say, get the, I don't know, like achieve the American dream or whatever. That's exactly what I wanted to do. And I think I'm there, maybe not exactly where I want to be, but I made it happen. What I didn't know is that through my journey, even though I am bilingual, that I went through so many cultures and so many jobs, from jobs to jobs, sometimes you don't realize certain things that actually will affect you during your daily life. For example, I remember my first job was babysitting triplets. That did not go well. And if you know me a little bit, I did it obviously because I'm not afraid of any job. I just wanted to have a job and get the habit of getting in here, obviously make money. And because obviously when you're new in this country, if you don't know, you need to have like money to pay your college because you don't qualify for any financial aid or any loan because you don't have any credit history, obviously. How would I know that? Unless that you're rich or you're coming from a rich family, good for you, then you can pay your college. That will be a different story. And obviously you don't qualify for no scholarships because who are you? And but I did that. I didn't last month. Me and kids, even though I have a kid and I love him, but no, that was not what I wanted to do. But then I got different opportunities, but that didn't stop me. I did you know this, you know my story, you already know this, but just to get what I wanted to go right now, you need to know this too. So I did a certificate of, I actually got the national certification for medical assistant. So I did the course for 9 months and I also got the certification nationally to get a better job, obviously. And I remember that I got an internship. I did my job, but the job was like with Indians, and you caught like the attention with different people, the different accents, the different pronunciations. You learn from whoever you like, your surroundings. I also got a job before that, in the meantime, for me to pay that the whole course in the program for me to become a medical assistant. That I remember that was one of my first jobs ever, in a restaurant, in an Irish restaurant. And I remember that they had a different kind of accent. And I remember I see people from England, people coming from Spain, people coming from obviously Ireland, and they have a different kind of accent in English that I probably was not as familiar. And I thought I knew how to speak English, but that's when it hits you, you have no clue what you're saying, because they have a different pronunciation, they have different dialects, they have different words that I have never heard in my entire life. And you kind of pick up here and there, like lovely, and certain words that you're not supposed to say, like fuck off or whatever. And I remember that was like picking up here and there and there and there. I also got a job in a factory, and that's actually where I met my friend and co-worker. She's my right hand and everything, Julia Nunez. And then there was a whole mix with Hispanic people that they also have a different kind of pronunciation when it comes to English. Either people from Washington Heights or people from Harlem, because obviously when I came to the country, we moved in the Bronx. But believe it or not, just in New York itself, you have so many dialects, so many backgrounds, so many people from so many places, that is so diverse that you get like so many accents that is crazy. And I remember that it got to the point that I was like, I know no English. I don't know what happened, but in the meantime, you get used to to hearing this kind of like accents, and you get used to do certain things and certain other ways to kind of like understand each other. So I remember all of that kind of like affected the way I spoke English, even the way I speak Spanish, even though I'm obviously really fluent in Spanish. That's my first language. And you can hear it still in the way that I pronounce some words in English, and obviously the accent that is coming out from right now, but I'm speaking with you. So that's another story. Then when I started working with different companies, and then finally I got my opportunity to work to go to college to get my degree in advertising design. I did my bachelor's degree, but I wanted to go into the field. I was working in marketing, and obviously learned this different terminology. And that's when a lot of people ask me, why do you always do these videos in English? You never do any videos in Spanish. But that's where you're wrong. First of all, I did have different podcasts. This is not the only one that I have. I do have another one just in Spanish for obviously my Hispanic community, because I'm Hispanic. Yeah, I'm really proud of it. And then I also live in the US, New York, and marketing is one of the biggest industries here, that you need to know how to speak English, and you need to actually know how to say the words and communicate with your people in English. But most importantly, most of my clients, they know how to speak English. And I actually went to school here to speak in English. And I know the terminology of marketing in English. And believe it or not, a lot of the terminology of marketing in Spanish is a little confusing, because, you get used to like the terminology, how you go to school, how you say things in here and there. But anyways, that's like another story for another day. That's not what we're here for. But then when it comes to like selling products, when it comes to like speaking with clients, when it comes to like building relationship, you are who you are. But I'm getting in there. When I got my first big opportunity to work for a corporate company, I remember that's when I said, I want to learn from scratch. I want to learn how to sell. I want to learn how to sell the advertising and marketing services to big companies, to other corporate companies, right? And I'm talking about big companies. I'm talking about huge brands, recognized names out there, which I will mention as the story keeps flowing. So I did not know, obviously, anything about the whole selling anything. I had no experience. When I'm saying, guys, I had no experience in selling. I had zero experience in selling. But hey, nobody's born to sell. Nobody's like is born knowing anything. You learn as you go, right? And sometimes you don't know how good you are at certain things until you don't try. And that's exactly what happened to me. That's exactly why I'm here in marketing. That's exactly why I love marketing and advertising so much, because I guess I was born to do this. I didn't even know I was going to be here recording this video. Hey, here we are. And we keep doing this stuff. But when I encountered that situation, that the trainer was like so excited, but I'm the type of person that if you know me a little bit, I'm not afraid of doing anything. I'm not afraid of speaking to anyone. Never in my entire life I've been afraid to kind of like try new things, or I don't think I'm afraid of anything. The only thing that I'm afraid of is like, what is my biggest fear? The jungle. Yeah, you're probably laughing, whatever. But I'm not a country kind of person. I'm a city girl. Yes, I will jump out of out of a plane faster than being in the jungle with animals that I have no idea what's going to happen, because I'll die instantly. And in the jungle. Yeah, nope. That's not for me at all. But yeah, that besides that, I have no fear of anything. Like, throw me to talk to whoever. That's another human person. I don't care. I'm just myself. And that's the thing. I've never been afraid of who I am. I never been afraid of showing the person that I am. I don't need to pretend of being someone else. I guess the imposter syndrome really didn't happen to me, but you don't know it until you are facing these situations, or maybe like other people actually push you to the edge and you feel like, oh my God, what am I doing? What am I doing? And what am I doing this? But it's the excitement, and when you're like in that roller coaster all the way like on the top and it's like about to go down, and then like that adrenaline is going through your veins. That's what drives you. That's exactly what is driving me to do all of it. And if I feel that excitement and I become like, and if you've seen it, that I get all red-ish in my face, it's because I'm excited. It doesn't mean that I'm afraid, but that doesn't mean that I'm not going to do it. I just keep doing it. So when I got the job in sales, the worst thing that ever happened, it was that they ashamed me so much just because I had an accent, just because I was bilingual. It got so bad into a point that I couldn't really speak. Like right now, you might understand everything that I'm saying. And yes, I do have an accent. Who cares? I'm Dominican, I'm bilingual, and I'm proud of being bilingual. And if you don't understand, I don't care either. But back then, they were like pushing me into like corner and shaming me in a way that I was like, oh, you're never gonna be successful in sales. You're never gonna find any good clients. I don't think this job is for you. In the training section in front of everyone. And instead of taking it as a bad criticism, I remember I did this. I sat down straight up. I looked at them. I smiled and I said, okay. And they were like, and you're not going to say anything? I'm like, no. I'm just going to go back to my desk and I'm going to do my job, what I was paid of. I was paid to call, get meetings, get new clients, go to those meetings, and do a whole presentation. And because I was a junior salesperson, I was assigned a senior sales manager going with me to every single meeting. And then in obviously during the more meetings that I make, I had to do presentations on my own, build relationship with those clients, and grow the relationship with those clients, bring in work. Obviously, that's the whole cycle of being in sales, right? To be an account executive, then a senior account executive, then a manager, account executive, whatever the case is, it's just like a whole ladder that you have to scale up, I guess. That's what they wanted me to do. So they thought I was going to be afraid. I'm like, okay, no problem. And I was a little, I'm not going to lie, I was scared of myself, saying why I couldn't even read the 2 lines that I still stuck in my head, that it was just so simple in front of everyone. It was a round table. And all I had to say, hi, my name is Jennifer Furpo. How are you? How are you doing today? So simple. But you get so afraid, and the way that they were doing it is so intimidating, saying all this stuff that you couldn't even read 2 lines. And you're like, oh my God, I'm not cut off for this. But they were doing it in a way that you were like, oh my God, I probably just suck so much that I'm the worst seller ever. I don't think I will ever do anything like this. But again, I didn't take that as a bad criticism, and it was bad. This is not the way that you were supposed to be trained or anything like this. And I do not recommend this to anyone. But I went back to my desk, and I remember I said into my head, they don't know what they're talking about. So I really want them to sit down and wait. And I remember before I left, I said, sit down, do not wait, and just watch me. That's what I said. I picked up the phone. I did not change my accent. How do you change your accent? The actors, they do it, but I'm not an actor. And I was not in the position to pay someone to change the way that I speak. And I was like calling different people from big brands. And guess what I did? I used the same story that I'm telling you right now to make connections. And I remember, even if you go to my Instagram account, or if you go to my website, you still can see pictures, logos of clients that I still work with and that I worked since I was working at the beginning from that company way before I started doing my own business, which means, and it proves, that I was not just selling, I was actually building relationships in a way that nobody else was doing it, in a way that everyone should be doing it, because you don't sell. You have to build relationships. You create emotions. You create experiences. But most importantly, you can have the same product like a million people, but what makes you who you are is what is going to sell. Does that make sense? So that's exactly what I did. I remember I told my clients that my boss was saying that no one could understand anything I was saying because of my accent. And I apologized like 3 times to my clients. I were like, stop apologizing. We understand you perfectly fine. And being bilingual is something that you can actually be proud of. And guess what? That made me unique. That actually, instead of a flaws, how my boss was calling it, gave me the differentiator that I needed to make my own brand. And maybe that's exactly why my clients keep working with me. Not just because I'm freaking good at what I do, but also because everything that you give in me brings it out of me, and I use it in my own advantage. And that's exactly how you need to do it with you. Yes, I can be really, really sarcastic. And all of this I use it in my brand. I use it for even my business. When you go to J Vision Advertising and you read the posts and even the jokes, or when you go to my own page, I don't think anything that serious. I am as honest as I can be. I am myself. And if you love the cold, good for you. If you love tea, good for you. But guess what? I hate those two. I hate it so badly that I called different sections of Coffee with Jen. And if you like tea, get out of here. But no, I still welcome you. And I respect that you like those kind of things. But I also want you to respect the way that I am, because that's the only way that you're going to sell your products, by being who you are. And remember this, you don't sell, you make relationships, you make experiences, you tell stories. Advertising is all of this. Advertising is a long-term commitment. I know I'm like a recorded record that is gonna break one of these days, but it's the total truth. You just have to find who you are, what's your identity, what's the biggest differentiator from everyone else, and that's the key. I really hope, guys, that this story actually gives you some clarity and you can relate in different ways, maybe not in the same way that it helped me, but I really hope that you kind of like get the message that I'm trying to get out there. And just let me know. Let me know in the comments what you think. What do you think I should have done better? Or do you think I did the right thing? And honestly, just because of the right approach that I had with my clients, I work with the biggest brands out there. I work with the Rockefeller Group. I work with Wavemaker of the Group M. I work with Adidas. I work with NBC and Telemundo. I work with ESPN. With actually now that I remember, ESPN was my first and biggest meeting that I ever did. That was my first meeting ever when I started cold calling after the whole experience. I worked with Nike, Holland Lovells, which is a huge law firm. I mean, the list, guys, goes on and on and on and on. You can actually go to my website and see all the clients that I work with. I have samples to show you of people that I work with. I have nothing to lose. And this bilingual with an accent Dominican girl did it. And if I did it, you can do it too. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I really hope that you guys are able to tune in on the next one. Please like, share, and follow, and subscribe on my channel and podcast. It means a lot. Thank you. Have a good one. Bye.